Of all the planets in our universe, there is only one we know can support life. Just the right distance from the sun with a perfect climate. It's been called the lucky planet. They walk amongst us with their eyes pointed down. They aren't interacting verbally, but through a screen rather. They're entitled. They need compliments and acknowledgement to keep them motivated. They want to hear good job for getting out of bed this morning. Nevertheless, they are informed, civically engaged, and open-minded individuals. They are Millennials. Generation Y. Considered to have been born roughly between the years of 1980 and 2000, they are likely the most studied generation to date. There are over 80 million of them existing in our world today. Here we have your average-looking millennial. She is a 22-year-old female born in the early 90s. She's on her way to her digital communications class. She likes all her favorite Instagrams. She lets her classmate know she will be attending her fundraising bake sale. Oh, she saw that article on Facebook about Donald Trump and she doesn't like it. She shares a post accompanied by her own extreme opinion that will probably end up changing over time. Someone she went to high school with is what's known as Vine famous. Some company gave him a cyborg for it. Still a student, with one semester left of her college career, she is unsure of what is to come after graduation. She grew up into a recession, and unemployment rates in her age group are very high these days. Where do you plan to go after college?
I'm moving back home.
I'm moving home.
I'm going home.
I'm moving back home.
Well, my mom made my room into an art studio, so I'll be moving back home into my basement.
How do you feel about that?
Well, it kind of sucks. I spent 4 independent years away from home, and now I have to go back.
Student loans are our biggest financial challenge.
We are in a literal financial crisis.
Literal financial crisis.
Well, it will be refreshing to eat my mom's cooking again.
I mean, my laundry will only be a few feet away.
My dog, she's 6 years old. I don't even know how many years she's really got left.
Nothing bad will come out of it. I'm just saving money so I can move somewhere cooler after.
It took 1 year for Mike, the situation Sorrentino, to go from living in his mother's basement to driving a Lamborghini.
Some people would argue that millennials are the cheapest generation.
I have a $1,000 bill from a gynecologist appointment because I wanted to get tested for every single STD. Turns out my healthcare doesn't cover that, and my mom has set me up on a 3-year monthly payment plan. $30 a month, and I am on month 4.
They're not the typical consumers America has been used to. They're not settling down at the same typical age of prior generations. Instead, they migrate to cities, pay rent, and use public transportation. They don't like committing to constant payments, unless of course it's Netflix or Spotify. They care about making money and they just want to spend it. They just spend it differently than previous generations. An online study conducted a list of 10 things that millennials buy more often than anyone else. Gas station food, same-day delivery, hot sauce, pet snakes, athletic clothes, organic food, specifically purchased at specialty grocery stores. Millennials are known to be more health conscious.
I mean, everyone across it's paleo. We don't eat carbs. We all go out, we eat barbecue, a lot of grass-fed beef. That's about it.
Tattoos and piercings. 1 in 4 having a piercing in some place other than an earlobe. 4 in 10 having a tattoo, and 18% of those people having 6 or more tattoos. Energy drinks, donations at the cash register, and craft booze.
Do you have any IPAs? I just like it to be more like coffee.
With every generation come new habits. Here we see one of the most common practices of the millennial generation, the selfie. Because some see extending your own arm, or extending an extension of your own arm, just to take a photo of yourself in a certain moment, as particularly narcissistic.
I saw an article from Time Online. It was titled Millennials, the me generation. What did you think of the article?
Well, I didn't read it. It required a $2.99 subscription.
Entitled, self-absorbed, self-confident, needy, obsessed with self-expression. They have multiple profiles on various social networking platforms. There is a dating app where all you have is 5 photos to represent yourself in a pool of people just to either be liked or disliked.
I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram,
YouTube, Vine, Vimeo,
Google+, SoundCloud, StumbleUpon,
WordPress, Foursquare,
MySpace, Tumblr, Pinterest,
LinkedIn,
Snapchat, Tinder.
People think we are self-obsessed, entitled people who feel the need to publicize everything we do in order to feel cooler.
I mean, we certainly are those kinds of people, but you don't think that if everyone at Woodstock had an iPhone, Snapchat wouldn't make a live update for it?
Technologic.
Millennials are not tech savvy. They are tech dependent. They didn't have to adapt to technology because they were born into it. Their media needs to move around with them so it's available when they want and need it. They use technology far beyond convenience.
Well, I'd have to say my favorite weekend activity is definitely Netflix and chill.
It's how they socialize, keep in touch, date, shop, travel, budget. They make most of their decisions by trusting other internet users.
I don't eat anywhere without confirming it has 4 or 5 stars on Yelp first.
Almost anything can be accessed through some type of web portal by a millennial in one way or another. They sleep with their phones next to their bed. They watched Pac-Man turn into Grand Theft Auto 5. Geeky is no longer a stereotype. It's cool.
Speaking glasses came back in style.
Being proficient in every Microsoft program will most likely land you a job.
Millennials have witnessed business instability and scandals. The market conditions and unemployment rates veer millennials away from these careers and toward the internet where the world is their oyster.
I have 1,200 followers on Tumblr.
It took me a while, but I finally have a profile picture with over 100 likes.
I have a video on Facebook that has over 4,000 views.
The female millennial continues on. She stops. She is happy to see her 2 gay friends at school today. She is amongst the most accepting generation of our time, accepting of sex in general. She's having it, they're having it, and she doesn't care who's having it. Millennials are amongst the most tolerant creatures on earth, okay with any form of self-expression if it means they can be themselves. Older generations tend to believe that millennials have a tendency to follow certain trends.
Trend setting? Okay, so I'm getting the out of here. Jesus Christ. You're a moron. God damn. And I can't change.
They've thrown out antiquated, sexist dating rules and gender roles. And in doing so, they've freed themselves from the traditional ideals and created their own love-filled relationships. And beyond sexuality, millennials are more accepting of all kinds of people. Not only are they the most racially and ethnically diverse generation, but the most accepting of it too. And they appreciate the influence of other cultures on the American way of life.
Me encanta ser puertorriqueña en Estados Unidos.
They are optimistic, liberal, civically engaged human beings who are changing the world. It's foolish to make broad statements about any generation, considering they consist of tens of millions of people. They adapt to the circumstances they've been put in. She's part of the most educated generation in history. She might even enroll in more school before getting a job. Then after that, she may not even stay loyal to one job. The company will be okay, but her manager will be great, so she'll stay a while. So always remember millennials. No matter what they say about you, you are a special individual. In fact, we could go on and on about how special you are, but the average attention span of a millennial is only a mere 8 seconds, which is less than that of a goldfish. But thank goodness you can multitask. A special, special individual. One day, you're gonna change the world. Now get out there, you tech-obsessed narcissists.